Night second place finisher. Plenty of fans here, Brett, and a solid second place finish.
Yeah, I got to shout out the Turn 2 Terror Boys over there. They're all a bunch of good guys to hang out with, talk to. I really like them.
What's going on? Turn 2 Terribles here. I am Jimmy. I am here with Chris and Jeremy. We got a banger tonight. We got Wild Bill Dietrich in the house. We're going to bring him on in a minute. But just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. If you're listening later on Spotify or Apple Music, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And, any little bit helps here. Chris, JZ, how you guys doing today on this fine post Daytona 500 week of the Icebreaker?
I'm doing all right. It's a nice
Monday.
day out. Not as nice as Thursday's supposed to be, but it was a good little fake spring day.
Yeah, it's supposed to be nice all
for
week.
sure. Agree completely. It was nice to see the sun out here today, and looking forward to what's ahead.
So, like I said, when we first put the promo out, just anybody who might be looking later for Freddie Raymer, he had to reschedule because of Icebreaker moving up to Thursday. So we'll try to reschedule him for another day, but that don't matter. We got Wild Bill Dietrich in the house, and this is going to be fun. I already know. So let's bring him on in. Wild Bill Dietrich. There he is. How are you doing tonight, man?
Hey, I'm talking here. You know who you're talking to? Macho Man! I'm on my way to Monday Night Raw. See that? World Heavyweight Champion.
So we shouldn't try to fight you. What you're saying?
Huh?
I ain't getting in the ring with him.
Nope.
No,
Not
no
today.
No shot.
I just beat Tito Santana. Pontiac Silverdome.
Is this where we just lead off with that first question of what is B? What was it, Jimmy? What's that question? From Nate. Nate had a good question. Nate wanted to know.
Nate said, "What does BDB Dietrich mean?"
Is this lead? To
Oh
that?
boy.
So start off with
is
that.
this it right here?
If we should get into that or not. We got to speed this up. I got to get the Monday Night Raw.
All
was
right.
not expecting that.
I already have text. I already have text
fun,
messages.
right?
That was fantastic.
That was absolutely phenomenal.
I already have text messages on my phone of what's happening right now. So this is amazing.
Shit, hey, you know what? If we can't have fun, what the hell can we have, right?
That's
Yeah,
right.
There
sir.
you go.
It's the spirit of this whole deal. To be honest
The
with
best
you,
part was he
absolutely.
changed in the 2 minutes that we went to the bathroom and got drinks. That's the best part. He had it.
Eat your heart out, Raymer fans. They ain't gonna do that shit. Proceed.
Yeah,
That's the show,
Chris.
boys. That's all we need.
Thanks for
right
coming,
there.
everybody.
That was
Appreciate
fantastic.
y'all. That's
Heather, give me the mic. I'm gonna drop that son bitch.
if you don't dress like that as you walk through the pits on Thursday, I'm going to be disappointed, sir.
Should be walking through the pits like that with the belt over your shoulder.
Get camera ready.
Walking up the pill draw with that
Yes.
belt over the shoulder.
Driver's meeting.
That is fantastic.
Oh,
man.
boy, there you go.
You got to find a flow camera somewhere.
So what's up, guys?
What's going on, Dale? How are you, sir?
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, man.
You're welcome. I wasn't really feeling like myself about 3 minutes ago, but I'm better now.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, let's go. Chris is going to kind of lead the show here tonight a little bit. Kind of go through some history and current and what's ahead.
Yeah. So let's start. How'd you get started in racing? How long ago? And what was your first car?
Well, no secret. My dad raced. That's how we got started. We started there, and here we are now. First car, we actually raced at Lincoln, 1997. I was really slow. I actually got black flag for going too slow. I think my second race, kind of the running joke. My family said they could read the Hoosier on the tire under green flag conditions.
You mean like the one I have back here?
That was his first tire.
That was his first tire. Okay.
So, yeah, that's what happened. 97, Lincoln Speedway. I proceeded to crash going about 40 miles an hour. So,
well, at least it didn't break the car as much, right?
That's true. I did get the double hook right in front of everybody. Back then the pits were in the infield, so everybody, you were right there. Everybody could see you.
What class car was that in? Was that a 358?
No, back then it was a 410. Yeah, we had a 410. My dad raced 410s. That's what we had. So
okay, because is there a time where you raced Trailway 358 with your brother?
Yeah, so there was let me get the timeline right. I'm going to say 99-ish. Definitely 2000, we were 358 racing. And me and my dad raced, he raced for a living for probably about 10 years. And in 95, 96, he got hurt in the spring. And that kind of ended his racing career as far as racing for a living. And then fast forward a few years, and I'm racing. And then I want to say Danny probably started in 02 or 03. And then that was the same year that Trailways, I think, went full-time Friday nights on. I think it was 03. They went full-time Friday nights. So we actually all three raced together for probably 6 or 7 years. Well, till 2010. Danny went racing for the 48 car, but my dad probably quit in 06, 07 was probably his last race.
So what are some of your favorite memories from that time when you guys are all racing together there before, time, does its thing and you all have to go your own way a little bit, but how was that, like starting out and going through?
Well, it was good. I guess when you get older, you see things differently. At the time, I didn't really see it like that. Danny was probably he just was a real pain in the ass back then. And we talk about it all the time. He's a good guy. I love him. He's my brother. But, we're brothers. We kind of butted heads. But looking back now, my dad is 75, and I would say they were the best times, if I had to put it all in a category to date, memories were racing with my dad and my brother. There's not many people that can say they got to do that, and yeah, that was good. We had some not so good memories too. We're both on the, back of a record together or something like that, but it happens.
Yeah. What are those nights like when that happens? Is there like wrenches and stuff being thrown at the shop, or just don't talk to each other?
No, we never had anything physical. Probably my most fondest memory of something like that had to be 97 or 98, because I was just learning how to drive and my dad was racing, and one of us spun out. I vividly remember it was turn 3 and 4 at Lincoln, and one of us spun and the other one, we ended up nose to nose in the middle of the track, and literally I could look right across and look right into my dad's eyes. He had his visor up. I can still see it today, just like I'm sitting here. I thought that was, that's always one that stuck out to me, is that moment in time where we're like looking at each other like, man,
not where you wanted to be, right? Or intended
not where we wanted to be,
So with the family trio, and I'm just going to grab one here, Chris, real quick. With the family trio and kind of getting raced together, there's a lot of family history there with all of you. So, not to stir the pot here, but was there, because I'm 40, so I grew up kind of watching your dad, watching Fred, and was there a rivalry? I don't remember it necessarily, but was there a rivalry between the families back then?
No, there was never a rivalry at all. I would say if there was any kind of rivalry with my dad, maybe a little bit over the years was maybe with Todd Schaefer. He had a couple run-ins with him off and on over the years, spinning each other out or whatnot. But, nothing with Fred. That's kind of a loaded question. Kind of a loaded question there.
Oh, don't worry.
It is, it is, and I didn't like like I said, I remember those days a little bit, and as a kid growing up, I was a Stevie Smith fan, and he kind of went Outlaws and traveling. I was a local guy, and kind of got away from the scene for a while. Came back, and my dad was a Fred fan. Now this was probably after your dad kind of quit racing, so it was like later, like the last 6-8 years of Fred's career. So I don't remember a ton of those days from back then. And I didn't think there was a rivalry. And I know Fred even started his rivalry when he was driving with your brother a little bit. So at sort of the very end of Fred's career, I think. So I know that what the current situation is, but I was just thinking back. I mean, are we going back now, 2 generations of rivalry? That would be, that's some like, made for History Channel type stuff,
Yeah, no, not so lucky.
Okay.
On that.
No, fair enough. We'll let that one there. We'll let that one lie for the moment.
So go back 99. So you started 97 into 410. They could reach your Hoosiers. 99, you go Chairway 358 racing. What else were you doing? Did you take the step back to learn and go that way? Or was it just the way it worked out? You had a 358 motor and we're starting from scratch instead of just trying to jump in with the big fish.
Yeah. So basically what happened was, when my dad was in 95 and 96, he was driving for another fellow. He had a ride. And so then his equipment sat for a handful of years. And then it got to the point where his equipment our equipment wasn't up to snuff. His stuff was just older. So we decided at the time 358 racing was probably the best bet for us to both race. And back then it was totally different. The 358 class as a whole was different. It was really on an upswing to the point where, fast forward from 97 to say, or 90, 7, 98, 99 to say 2000. And I can remember being at the Grove in the early 2000s on nights and Lincoln where there was 50 cars. And that wasn't unusual to have 45 to 50 cars. So it was really on the upswing. It was cheap racing when, me and my dad and of course Daniel was coming right behind us. We knew he was going to want to race. So it was economically, it made sense. And it actually, made us better racers for sure. Cause we could compete instead of being just behind and never have a chance to, to run up from anybody.
Right. So it's giving you that seat time in a competitive environment at the front of the field versus trying to hang on, running that last row and not get run over by the leaders.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Where did your first win come at and when?
First win was at First win was at Silver Spring Speedway. It was a cars race, 358 race. August of 2000. I thought maybe I was going to win there in the spring of 2000. We used to have 2 races every year. And like I said, they were cars sanctioned races, who originally started the 358 class. And cool track. It's hard to believe it's been going so long, but
right.
Yeah, I won the race. I don't remember much about the race other than the place used to get real dry and slick, and picked up the win there. It was the first win there.
Wonder if there's a video of that on the people that always did the videos you can go by at the shows and stuff.
Dirt Station?
Or Thunder on the Thunder.
Oh, Lynn Schaefer, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a video of that out there somewhere. I'll have to,
that'd be interesting to see.
2000. Yeah. I'll have to try to find that somewhere. That'd be cool to see for sure. I'd never been to. Did you guys ever go to Silver Spring, Chris or Jimmy?
One time, Brooke Weibley went out over turn 1 and 2 into the trees. Hodnett was a Speedweek show. Greg Hodnett in the Apple car, I think, won that night after having wheels. That's like they were doing the radar guns were first coming around. And they were tracking wheel speeds. He's like 110 into the corner. It was the craziest thing ever. It's like a 10-year-old me. And that's all I remember from that night.
I think I went as a kid, but I don't remember it at all. And I mean, there's so many people that talk about the love for that place and the design of the track. And I mean, I've seen videos and different things from it, man. I think it would just be, it would be one hell of a facility and show today. I think,
Billy, you might be able to talk to more. I kind of think, to me, from what that one time I was there, BAPS reminds me of it somewhat, I think, but I don't.
I
Again,
almost called it like Grandview, like the.
I've never been to Grandview, but like it's just because we went to Williams Grove every Friday night. So as soon as I see a track that's not Williams Grove, I just think small track. Right away, it's BAPS, it's whatever it is, smaller track. Because I'm just every Friday night Williams Grove. So
yeah, I would say probably not so much. You know, the trail I would say trailways would have been more in the realm of Silver Springs as far as the length and the turns being so tight, but the Springs was just laid out different. It was
just a unique,
maybe a little wider, and it definitely got, you know, it's just a different surface. But yeah, 2 tracks gone. Like think about that for a second.
Yeah, no kidding.
And that's why it's big when you see like Lincoln do what they do this week, do something. Like you see a track this off season's been kind of Lincoln's cutting in the crossfire. But at least they're doing something, because like if these tracks don't do something, they go away. So
yeah, it's there's so many touch on that a little bit. There's so many different feelings about racing Thursday night or some of the other stuff that's going on at Lincoln. You know, if we can race, that's great. You know, hopefully the fans come out and support us, and hopefully that the changes that they're attempting there, they go well, and we do get the fan support, because you know, if you guys you've been to go to the Grove, go to all these tracks. I mean, if it ain't a special show, Speed Week, or something along that lines, you can pretty much sit anywhere you want, anytime you want. So.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And, you know, that's the argument I think that some people are having about racing too much. You know, there's times where, you know, how many guys in the area even run all of Speed Week, right? So last year was what, 10, 11, and a couple of those were invaders that wouldn't have normally are normal weekly PA guys. So if you think about it just in that case, if you take a whole season, 410 shows, do we run too many? And every track wants their piece, right? So they want their piece of the pie as far as getting the premier division in Central PA, and premier as far as the country goes. As far as, you know, you guys racing weekly is some of the best racing in the country. But then fans, the economy, the travel, kids, life, the older generation, right? So if there's not kids coming to replace the folks who can't go to the track as much anymore, what happens? So, you know, do we need to make more shows, big shows, right? And we talk about Lincoln a little bit. And when's the last time Lincoln had a 2-day show? Do you remember?
Boy, not really. I was at an outlaw race at Lincoln back in the mid '90s. It happened to be a 2-day show, but that was Friday to Saturday.
But and every other track right now has these weekend events, right?
Yeah.
Williams Grove, Port Royal, and Williams Grove's a little less because it's usually just centered around the Outlaws. But Port Royal does it a few times throughout the year that are non-sanctioned and/or all-star. But Lincoln, for the first time, they go, okay, Icebreaker. They picked the Icebreaker where teams aren't ready, the weather's iffy. I appreciate that they make their event, because the Icebreaker, everyone thinks Icebreaker, they know it's Lincoln Speedway.
Yes,
but
that's the premier.
But is it the right weekend? Because, you know, I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of unfortunate that we couldn't find out because of the weather report. I don't think we'll get a fair shake on it either, because we get a nice, great weekend in February where it's 75 Saturday, Sunday. That race is huge.
Yes.
Oh, anytime above 55 degrees and sun, that place gets packed. And honestly, we all hope Thursday is a success. And honestly, with that weather forecast and the time they're going to start, where it's still warm enough, the only thing would be the issue Friday, people working. But hey, you know, grow up and get upset, right? We're going to go watch some racing in February. I think it's going to be packed, in my opinion. That's just.
Well, I hope you're right. You know, it's definitely a risk. I don't know the thought behind it. I can't say it's bad. I mean, like, you know, you gotta give them an A for effort. You know, one thing that I will say that I feel like some of these tracks maybe should consider, it's probably easier. It's easy for me to say because I'm not a promoter or tracker, but, you know, today's day and age, we got all at our fingertips. We got everybody. You know, it's just a matter of hitting the post button or send, and everybody within minutes knows what's going on. So, you know, like a flex schedule, you know, this is a perfect example right now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that this was necessarily the right example of that, because we're moving it, you know,
to a weekday,
days ahead, you know, to the middle of the week. And, you know, in the business we're in, I deal with a lot of racers, and I had 2 guys there today that were not ready, and I'm sure they needed them extra, you know, 2 days or actually 3 days, to get ready, because Thursday you've got to be ready, or Wednesday night. So
Right.
hopefully it works out. We want to see the large crowd there for sure. I mean, that's why we race, right? We race
So I guess
for
my question
entertainment.
for you, how long did it take you to make that decision that you were ready to go Thursday, go race? Let's just jump into it. Because I mean, you found out. It sounds like you found out based on your live stuff last night, and you found out when we found out. Like it's kind of.
Yeah, I was driving home. We work Thursday or Saturday afternoons, and I was driving home, and Glenn Walp called me, and he's like, "You better be ready for Thursday." And I said, "You're full of shit." So, yeah, he was right. He was right. But we're probably 97% ready right now, anyway. So it won't take us much to get 100% ready. We just got to do some what I would call normal race day prep stuff.
So your stuff
Sure.
you would be doing Saturday night after the original date anyway.
Yeah.
My question for you, we talked about the fans, but what do you think the car counts are going to be? I have concerns. Icebreaker weekend always does okay for car counts. You always have some names that aren't going to be there. You have some guys that show up. We talked, and Dylan Cisney made it pretty public about his thoughts. Back in Rick Lafferty would come to this race. Cole Duncan would come into this race. So Steve Buckwalter, where you might not see him at Lincoln a ton. You would always have them kind of Icebreaker weekend over the years. Do you think Thursday throws a wrench in it for more of those types of guys, on top of the guys who already said I ain't racing until the end of March anyway? What do you think?
I would say, count? Yeah, I would say you're probably right. There will be a few guys, or maybe more than a few, that maybe all kinds of reasons,
right.
Yeah, maybe they're just pissed off that they did this, And I mean, to be honest, it happens, and then there are going to be guys that are going to be like, hey, I got to, like my wife, she got to get up at 4 a.m. to go to work Friday morning. So like, think about that, having to roll out to go to work, and Saturday and Sunday hasn't been canceled.
Right.
We don't know what's going to happen there.
Sunday's starting to look better and better every day. So
right.
Depends how much moisture we get Saturday.
Yeah.
You don't know. I mean, I've seen that change a couple times.
Yeah.
For the Saturday part of it as well. So
right.
It's hard to say. I hope people. I'm sure there'll be, if I had to guess, 30 plus cars.
You think? Okay.
I would think. Yeah.
Because I think if we get the fans to show up and the place is packed and we have an 18-car field, I think people are going to feel some kind of way about that. I mean, as a fan, like if I, again, I'm not going to knock on BAPS because it really wasn't their fault. They had so much rain and they rescheduled the Gobrecht in July, and we went and they had 15 cars. But it was like the day after Speed Week ended, or I forget what that was, so I understood all that. Like there was a lot of circumstances that played into it, but everybody kind of got there and went, 15 cars? Like, for 10, it was like, and it was a good payday that day. So did Lincoln announce a pay structure, layout, or format for this Thursday?
5,000 to win.
5,000 to win.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
That's all so I'm seeing. No, I would just assume it would be the normal draw for the first.
Kind of like an icebreaker format, whatever they're going to run that weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we know if it's a points race or not?
I don't know, and I've seen some people online talk about that too. I don't.
Wow,
really
Bill
see
don't
that.
care. I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't care. But
yeah, I mean, like I see people online that are chirping about it, but at the same time, I think they're the same people who ain't going to be there every week anyway. So,
right. Probably. Right.
You got a race car. If you want to race, you're going to race.
Yes, sir.
It's just the way it is. Just like us, whenever we want to go to a race, sometimes we don't want to go. We don't go.
Yeah.
So that's just the way I see it. The whole Facebook, Twitter. Oh my gosh, it's pretty comical sometimes, but not as good as this show.
Well, thanks. Let's get.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I wanted to just grab a couple comments here from. We got quite a few people watching. Thank everybody for tuning in.
Hold on a second. This way I can read the comments.
Oh man. Oh buddy. Looking sharp.
All right, I'll straighten up now.
You don't have to.
You're good. You're good. That's great.
We're called the Turn 2 Terribles, for Christ's sake. I mean,
we found out what BDB means from Nate.
There it is. There's Nate.
And then from Seth here, picture this. I walk in the house and hear, Macho Man, you may proceed. That was one of the, we're going to have to try to clip that and put us in a new intro video when we do a new intro video. That was
dropping
phenomenal.
Content all over you guys.
Here's from Troy. Hey, Wild Bear, your YouTube is badass. Looking forward to watching you drive the 12 and 18 cars this season.
Yeah.
12 and 8.
Yeah, what's up with the 12?
What's a 12? What is that?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys didn't watch his YouTube today. You guys suck.
I did not.
I didn't watch it today.
Yeah, I saw it today, buddy. At
YouTube.
lunch.
Everybody out there, go to Billy Dietrich's YouTube.
We're not telling them.
On the YouTube.
Do it
Check
right
out
now.
the video. Heather dropped it today. Friday night ride right here.
Right there.
Hey, let's go.
Nice. Cool.
Good
Hey,
Grove
you-
on Friday nights.
You had
They
some
got
good
the
runs
seats
at
in it.
Williams. You had some good runs at Williams Grove last year. I
Yeah.
mean, for the limited amount of seat time lately, or the regularity of showing up, you had some good runs.
Yeah, I mean, like I hadn't raced there in like 20 years. Was it 20 years? I don't even know what it was. Anyway, it was a long time, and then Danny needed me. Okay, let's just say it the way it is.
Brother.
He needed his big brother again. He's like, Bill,
Oh,
help me out. I'm like, fine. I'll help you out. Put your number on my wing. And
I
then
love the
almost
tape you
won.
put on there too. That was yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You finished what, second
Almost
that night?
won. I wish I had won, but I didn't. So, but
If you would have won,
anyway.
you should have made Danny pay you double.
Well, yeah, that's true, but he buys me breakfast on Friday, so I'll give him that.
There you go.
He treats me pretty good. But anyway, back to the 12 car. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yep.
So Barry Shear, I've known Barry for a long time. He's got a 410 car, obviously, as you know, the 12 car. So he needed a driver this year. And they reached out to me. We've been talking a little bit. And, well, yeah, let's do it. We put it together and was over at the shop yesterday, Sunday, and we put the seat in the car. And I think we're good to go. You know, he's got good equipment. He's got some good motors. He got one car there ready to go. He's got another brand new car he's going to be building. And, yeah, Friday nights at the Grove. Won't be every single Friday, but the majority of the Fridays will be there, starting with the first race on the 12th.
Nice.
small world and funny. I ran into Brent Saturday at Motorama, and he's like, "Yeah, I said, what? When are you going to be out?" He said, "I'm not," but he didn't say that. So maybe that news wasn't able to break until yesterday or today, but he didn't say any of that. You little shit. Wait till I see him next
even
time.
If on the live thing last night, you all didn't break the news either. You said you were racing Williams Grove, but you didn't say for who or what.
Yeah, Aaron King. Okay, Aaron King. I see your comment. We watched that one. Okay, we missed today's. I'm sorry.
I
all
didn't
right?
miss it though, Aaron King.
Listen,
I saw it.
You know.
Say Chris
Do
did
your
here.
research. Aaron coming in hot here with the comment.
I'm telling you, fire. Get us.
Wow, Bill's fault. He got everyone hyped after this Macho Man thing.
That's
It's
right.
just we're here for it.
And
this
this is actually a fire follow-up comment. Not that it gets Brett, but that number 12 is going to be finishing in more A's this
Right,
year.
and something I was going to say is that 12 probably could have won a bunch of A's in the past couple years, just for different things happening, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But I'm looking, so that makes me excited for you. Like if you get those same situations, I think you're going to have
Good
more and
equipment.
more of those opportunities to get that win and be like, I did it.
Yeah, I hope so. You know, we liked racing the Grove. It just didn't really work out for our program. But Barry's geared up to run the Grove, so that's cool because it adds a whole other dimension to our race season, and it should make me better racing more. I think our original schedule was right around 40 races, and then
Once Heather gets your chicken scratch figured out, 75.
yeah, well it's rough. I have a hard time writing.
Same.
It's usually the pencil's fault, but I think we're up to around, we're up to like 75 races now. So that's pretty cool. If everything goes like it should, of course, there'll be some rainouts in there and what have you. But, I know Brent and I know his dad, Barry, and, I don't really, that's, it's kind of not my deal. You know what I'm saying? So
Right,
I'm
sure.
friends with them both. And, I just hope that everybody has a good time this year. And I think we will. My crew's he's got a crew, and his crew kind of races some. They got their own race cars. So then my guys are going to come along. We're all going to have a good time. And, ultimately the goal is to win. We want to win. We want to do good. And I know it's going to take probably a little bit of learning because it's a different car, different motor. But the car seems pretty fast from every time I watched it.
Yeah,
Sure.
I
Now
agree.
you said you're running not quite every week, but majority of the weeks in that 12 car. Say you're somehow leading the points. Does that change that deal, or is it just, hey, I'm not racing this, I'm going on vacation, I don't give a damn?
Pretty much, yeah. I don't think that really. We don't race for points. Yeah, we're out of
It
points.
takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, like we want to go to Clinton County on a Saturday night, for example. We did that last year, and we're gonna do it again this year. And
That worked out pretty well, didn't it?
yeah, it worked out good, and it worked out real good. So no, we're not no points.
So over the years, you've kind of ventured out at times into sort of one-offs, the Dog Hollow, the Clinton County. Not that was one-off, but you've kind of done that and dabbled in that over the years a little bit. And you're not always that full-time guy like we just talked about the last bunch of years. Every weekend, 2 nights a week. What kind of is it? Sort of like, hey, I just want to do something different, kind of thing, or do you have a sponsor obligation anywhere?
No, it's more along the lines of just change of scenery.
Yep.
Like last year, the last couple of years, we went to Clinton County and Big Diamond that was a weekend of Knoxville. You had a weekend we could go to some different tracks, and Western PA. We went out there last year for a weekend towards the end of the season.
I hear those videos are supposed to be wild.
The videos are going to be pretty good.
I've heard this.
One of the most commented people on your chat here is going to be the star in the video, I believe.
Oh boy,
AKA Nasty Boy.
I heard.
Nasty
For you
Nate.
guys that didn't watch the stuff today, I heard there's a chip tooth, some motorhome stuff.
Oh yeah, there's
some weekend camping, some guest pit crew, wild stuff.
There's some stuff I probably shouldn't even say right now. So I'm just
I just took what Heather said on the live stuff. So
yeah. She does. Hey, you know what? I just got to plug my wife here for a second. Wait a minute, that sounded weird. I'm just gonna say it.
I mean, Aaron agrees, Jack agrees. So
Heather's hotter than Miss Elizabeth. Fucking right, she is. What was I gonna say? I think what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, Heather does all the YouTube stuff, and she does a good job. So, oh boy. Anyway, sorry about that.
Yes,
YouTube stuff, the merch, all that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she does all the merch design. Her and Cork do the merch design, and Heather does all the video. So like it,
phenomenal job.
People do all these YouTube videos, and I watch a lot of YouTube. I mean, that's how we kind of like got into this. I'm like watching YouTube, and she's like, you can do that. I'm like, well, I can talk, but I can't do
the rest of it.
The rest of it, and boy, it's like an eye-opening experience for me now because there's a huge difference between putting a video out there and putting a video out there that's like done
put
right
together. Yeah.
Right. And I feel like Heather, she strives for that. And I think it shows when you watch the videos. That's not a knock on anybody else's videos, but just saying
the production matters as much as the content. The content will always be number one, and you have a personality, you have something to say, you're relevant not only as a driver, but in the business, you have things that you have some knowledge and background to it, and you have fun with it. So the content matters. And then the production of it though matters just as much in your world, because how many takes does it take sometimes to get out actually something news? I mean, how many have you done something you had to do a bunch of takes and then Heather has to figure out which take it was? And
last night when they had to redo the whole thing.
Oh yeah, last night was rough, dude.
You know what I mean?
So that production there, man. Don't do me like that. Come on.
Hey, I got to watch the second one.
I'm hurting from that. I'll just say that I choked at the very end of the video in case you weren't watching, and it was rough. Well, I'm okay now. She's still staring at me, shaking her head. No, back to your question. Typically, it ain't that bad. Like we pretty much. Heather has to remind me sometimes because I'll ramble, and I don't pause. That's probably my biggest. I'm pointing again. I shouldn't point. That's probably my biggest thing.
You can point.
Is not pausing for the.
Public speaking is definitely in your future. I mean, you're getting all this practice. You're gonna be on stage.
2024, buddy.
It's ready to rip.
That's right. Dietrich for president. Oh my God, that's the shirt we need.
We're gonna call it the double D. Jacker and Dietrich.
There you go. I'll buy that double D shirt. Danny won't even notice.
That sounded good in my front yard. For sure. Chris, keep going, buddy.
No, Jimmy is still going through the comments.
Yeah, I wanted to
We got
point
through
out
two of
just a
them.
couple real quick. Tony Collins here. Hey, Billy. Good luck this year from Oklahoma. We got some people from all over right now.
Oh
It's,
yeah, I saw Mad
What's up,
Matt chime
Tony?
in.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks, Tony. Mad Matt. Good day, Billy, from the Gold Coast,
Yes,
Australia.
I
Thanks
know
for tuning
Mad
in.
Matt. What's up, mate?
in.
He posts some cool stuff online. If you don't follow him,
Yeah.
Mad Matt.
He's an inspiration for photography, man. That guy does a good job for sure.
Yeah.
He's liked a lot of my stuff over the last year, my journey through it, and a lot of his stuff's been a good kind of like a measuring stick for me. Going, okay, am I onto something here? Do I know what the hell I'm doing at all? So he's definitely a guy that I look at his content for sure. Find his page on Facebook. What else you got there?
You just skip anything Chris Frank says, all right? Just skip.
Just skip right over those. Fair enough.
I mean, he was
Hey, what do you think about? Go ahead.
So we got this one from Don. This is an interesting question. Since Bill is going to race 2 nights most weekends, when is he going to take the wing off and race?
Ooh. All right.
You did that.
Oh, yeah,
Kind
I
of.
did. I'm an expert. Not real. So, okay. Mr. G, as we call him, Mr. G. So just a little backstory on this comment. I've known Mr. G since I was in high school. He was one of my teachers. He was one of Danny's teachers. Cool guy. He comes and stops at the shop. So he always picks on me about taking the wing off. I did take the top wing off of a sprint car one time and practiced at Lincoln. You guys remember when USAC used to come to Lincoln?
Seth.
Yeah, it didn't go well for me. I definitely crashed the car. So it was so bad. I'm never doing that again, actually. Oh yeah, I did race the Speedster.
I was gonna say the Speedster. That was fun.
That's right.
To watch.
Yeah,
That's a touchdown, right?
For a moment.
That was a fun YouTube
For a
video.
moment.
Good job for making it
That
look
was
fun.
rough. That was rough. I'm out of my element without being in a sprint car, I'm pretty sure.
Fair.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We don't want to offend any late model fans, Jay-Z, but
Oh, I was going to ask him that. What are your thoughts on late models?
It's really fun. Yeah, I do it.
Oh, yeah, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was curious. I've had guys come in and be like, "Nah, I ain't touching that thing." I think we've talked to some sprint car guys, and there's other be like, "Yeah, I'd be open to giving that a shot."
Yeah, I'm in. I'd give it a shot.
why
There you
not?
go.
Some of the
Anybody-
best late model racing I ever saw was at Port Royal back in like, I don't know, mid to late 90s. Scotty Hawes. I don't know who all them guys were up there. It seemed like there was a 33 car. They'd run the cushion around Port Royal back when Port Royal was cool. Not the way it is now.
It's all
All fast and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, smooth. You can see. Come on.
well,
What the hell?
Who wants that shit?
the Port Royal they have now. I mean, the late
We
models.
need
are
rocks
middle
on the
bottom.
wings, boys.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you want the front stretch wall falling down. Cover grandstands.
OSHA says otherwise, Billy. I don't
You can
know.
just- You can just go to Bloomsburg if you want that.
No.
Oh. Yeah, I went to Bloomsburg one time.
Yeah, I know.
I ain't going back.
Nobody going back. I hope. To be fair,
go
they're
ahead.
running speedsters and stuff. I hope that they work that track out. but
I
I'm
do
not
as
trying to rag
well.
on them.
I will say, I'm just going to say this because it really aggravates me.
Jimmy's gonna get pissed off.
How many opportunities did you get to build a racetrack in the year 2021?
Hmm.
And you build that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
I'm just
mean,
saying, like, I was like so excited. It's a new track. We're gonna have sprint cars there. It's gonna be awesome. I'm going, and I did. We pumped it
Were
up,
you-
we promoted it, and we get there.
Which
it's
race
like,
did you go?
We went to the All-Star race last
The
year.
first one,
in
right?
the
Yeah.
spring.
I thought that race was okay, but
First
I
one,
know
I thought the first one was fine. Yeah.
yeah, but I love the track shape. I think it's nice and unique for around here, but the track surface was garbage.
It is
I don't
terrible.
understand how they
Terrible. The
how
shape's
they
terrible.
did that. What's wrong with the shape?
You can't run. You can't use the whole track.
Right, 3 and 4. It was.
You
It
can't-
was.
So
Yeah,
first of all, you come
3 and
down
4 is
the
a little
front
too
stretch,
wide.
Come down the front stretch, and you have to run high. There is no low.
Hmm.
And then you get to turn 2, and you better be going low because you can't go high.
Yeah.
Then you get to turn 3, and then that's it.
It's a shelf.
just-
It was flat.
just
You had to like
flat.
lay up early, and
All right.
yeah, and it was flat on exit, so you couldn't even like, lean on each other. You
Nope.
everybody was washing out, and it was
Literally
like-
lifting off the gas.
yeah. Yeah, and it looked like that. It was like flat in the wrong places, and it was banked in the wrong places where it made it one line. Like early in the night when y'all were like hot laps, you were like 1 and 2 was like you'd throw it in the bottom to the middle a little bit, but as soon as it got dirty and went up, you just had to stay up there. You were up there all
Yep.
night. You couldn't make any ground up on the bottom.
Yep. We timed
Yeah.
bad, and that was it. Like I literally watched everybody in front of me. I don't think anybody passed anybody in the heat races.
No.
Right.
And anyway, I was just disappointed. Now, Heather said the bright spot of the whole night was they have nice bathrooms.
They do.
Oh,
That's true.
fair.
That is
If
very
you're
I
true.
think the
lady out
facilities
there,
there are great.
You can
So-
appreciate that.
I've been going
Yeah,
to that.
yeah.
I've been going to that fairground since I was a toddler. Basically, I've always gone to the fair
Yeah.
every year, and that when they said they were building that, I was excited because they had
Sure.
the facilities and everything. But yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. They couldn't really
beautiful.
botch it. They couldn't botch it more than they really did. I walked the track after the second All-Star race, and there's just big fucking boulders and coming up out of the. I'm like, how you gonna? I could see why like Danny and shit would piss.
This is, mind you,
You know,
he sees this and then still proceeds to fight Danny over.
yeah, because I don't want to see
same
my.
Listen, it's pride. It's pride.
It's pride,
side.
man. I don't.
Side.
And
You
I'm
know?
selfish. I have to drive an hour and a half at least. I mean, the closest track to me is Selinsgrove, so I love Selinsgrove too. But like, I have to drive an hour and a half to go see a good race.
Don't tell him, Billy. Don't tell him.
So-
You're not going there either.
so it's a little selfish of me, but like, I'd like a track that I could go see some 410s 5 minutes down the road from.
Absolutely.
So sorry.
I wish somebody could fix it.
I know. I hope they do because they got a. They're going a different route this year, going with the speedsters and trying to do like bi-weekly type of stuff. And I'm hoping that maybe one helps with the noise and dirt complaints, and two, they could work out some of the kinks with the track.
Yeah, I mean, like they definitely have, or they did have the means to make it
Yeah,
what it should have been.
they had all the right people in place. I mean, you had Steve O'Neill helping. You had Levi help design and build the track, and I don't know what the hell
Yeah.
happened. And it is what it is. But
The facility, like the pit area, was nice because it had paved. It was paved.
Yep.
You could walk around. It was lit well. It's disappointing, man.
yeah,
It has a
is.
lot of it going for sure, and it just like a little bit of the engineering on the track designed for a 410 race, and maybe it was sole purpose wasn't for 410s, and it just ended up not being great for you guys. But like a speedster, 305, some of the wingless stuff, potentially it
Yeah.
works better for those cars. It just didn't fit right for a 410 race. It was going to be banked. It should have been banked on both ends. At least you create some slider fest for each other, something
Yep.
where you could drive down off the hill, almost like a mini Bridgeport a little bit, where you had some maneuverability. You could move a little.
Yeah.
You weren't locked down. So
I'm
you know,
with you, Billy.
who knows?
That
So-
second race was. I remember who won the second race. I feel like Danny was
Justin
running
Peck.
up.
Yeah,
Danny was up front.
Danny
there.
Danny was running like second or third. He ended up finishing fourth.
Yeah, what made that exciting was the track was so bad.
Mhm.
All right, you didn't know
Yeah.
what was going to happen.
It was
Hold
cowboy up. It was very
Yeah.
cowboy up.
Guys were bouncing around. Other than that, it would have just been the same.
Yeah.
Actually, question for you with the bouncing around. You've been in, obviously, you've raced enough that you've had those tracks. Is there much you can do as a driver other than don't hit the damn hole? But when you can't really avoid some of that, is there much you can do to, you see guys hit a rut and flip, right? But not everyone does. So is there much you can do as a driver to avoid some of that?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, there are certain ways you can hit the rut or drive through the rut, drive around the rut. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's just circumstances. If you're racing with somebody, they might force you somewhere. But my dad told us years ago, you want to just, I can remember his words, just you want to drive straight through the hole. Obviously, if you're sideways, you're gonna crash. So,
That
That-
seems logical to me.
That makes a ton of
thinking
sense.
about Bloomsburg and that night and how it was like shitty, and we drove home for that was like 2 hours or something.
2.5, 3 hours
2.5
probably for you.
hours.
It was 2 hours for me.
Yeah, so like we did that the year before too. We went to Bloomsburg and it was pretty shitty. I'm sorry, Big Diamond. I'm just gonna bring this up because my wife's sitting here and she just said something about it. We went to Big Diamond, which kudos Big Diamond. They're putting 410 show on again, right?
Yep. And they're putting out 358 show.
Yeah. So yeah, we went there and we sucked tea one time, and that was a long ride home.
I went there for the first time this past year. That's a unique place for sure.
It is. You gotta get
Different.
rid of them tractor tires.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to see something different and a whole different perspective, and the way, especially a 410 maneuvered around there, and the attitude of the cars. But it left a little bit to be desired on the racing part of it once it slowed
Yep.
down and slicked off. But Modifieds put on a good show, but that place that's what it's made for. That's what they do every week. So kind of the same thing. I'd go back for sure. It was fun. It was something different, but yeah,
I'm going back.
I like it.
I don't want to know why Nate has pink eye. By the way, Nate, I'm not.
Yeah,
even
what's the
engaging
pink eye
with-
about?
So let's go back here.
I have had it, but we're not engaging in how you got it, bud.
Has any of the Turn 2 Terribles ever had pink eye? Asking for a friend.
He's
I'm out of the loop on this.
got it again, apparently.
Oh man,
What is he? Never mind.
Stop.
What? Oh boy, I'm not even sure what you're doing there.
We probably
Nate?
don't want to go there. This is probably nasty Nate for a reason.
Is this Nasty Nate? This is who that is, right?
That's it. That's the
Okay.
one, the only.
I've seen the Nasty Nate a bunch. I'm friends with Troy Wagaman and some other guys that kind of sponsor him, and so this name has popped up in my circle here a lot lately. So I have to meet this person. I got to find out his schedule, and I got to introduce myself to this guy because I can't imagine this isn't a good time when he's in.
We'll ask him then.
Yeah, just stop down the art trailer at the track. He'll be there.
I'll see you Thursday.
We're gonna have to do
We'll see you
this
Thursday.
for sure.
Social media. What do you think about the haters? You have fun trolling them? Somebody's asking that.
Yeah.
Or do you just
Little
you don't even
city
have
demon
haters?
over
I'm guessing
here.
everybody probably just doesn't troll you.
I don't mind. Like, it's fine. I don't really see a whole lot of negativity.
It's because you're cool.
That's because you're
There
You're
we
a
go.
better Dietrich.
Got it.
That's why we took the picture.
Danny gets most of the hate. I'm just there. The way it is.
I'm guessing you're gonna go the same way. Who decided on the blue paint scheme first? You or Danny?
What was the question again? I missed it.
Sorry.
Who decided on the blue
from
paint
Travis.
scheme first? You or Danny?
Oh, my car?
Even though they're different shades, but
But I mean, Danny
yeah.
reverts between white, red, and blue every 3 years. So
It's
this
just
was
a
just his cycle.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, let's throw a quick picture up because this thing is sharp.
this is a
It's
sharp
so sharp.
number 8.
I love it. New
Sexy.
paint scheme for this year.
Probably gonna win a lot of races because of how good it looks.
Damn
Solely,
right.
not because of how good Wild Bill is. But
I mean, how can you not like that? I'm just saying. No, I think Danny might have had. Well, Danny plans a little further in advance than I do because he has to race sooner than me. But we pretty much had the design picked out by like middle of December.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
And who does your design and wrap?
Zach Barber, Lake
Okay.
Graphics out of Wellsville.
Lakeside.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And I heard that name on the YouTube, but I didn't know Barber and Lakeside. I that's
Yep.
one that I haven't come across yet. So has he always done kind of your designs?
The last handful of years he has. Before that, Aaron Ott did it, and then they kind of teamed up together, and then now it's just Zach by himself. So, yeah.
So, question going back to a little bit of this stuff. When your brother gets into it with somebody, I mean, how involved do you end up getting, or you just kind of let him be him and you do you?
I don't really get involved. I mean,
he's WWE Raw. He's like, let's go. Royal
Yeah.
Rumble.
I mean, Macho Man's entering the chat. Like, I would think that you want to be all in on that.
I just want you to know I had a whole lot more to give tonight, but I just wanted to save you guys. I didn't want to take the whole show from you.
It's yours. This is your show, not
This is
ours.
your show.
Sorry. Okay, so me and Danny work together every day. We work together. So, of course, I know what's going on for the most part. And here's how I see it. And I'm sure people are going to agree or disagree or agree to disagree. 90% of the time or more, probably closer to 95% of the time, he's right on a lot of the things he posts online. Now, that doesn't mean the timing's right. That doesn't mean people want to hear it. But that's just like his comment about East Bay the other night. Dude, that place sucks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I watched the feature. That's your biggest race of the week, the year, and
Yeah.
that's the product you're
That's
going
what
to
you
give.
do.
Right.
I'm just throwing that out there as an example. Now, the race and stuff on the track, that's another story. Like, heat of the moment, things happen. I get it. We've all been there.
Sure.
That's kind of like separate. You got the social media side and you got the racing side. So,
And,
I'll
and
get
the hard
to it
part is
more,
they cross over, right? So when you have the racing side and there's sides, okay? So you take the racing stuff and Danny, right or wrong, created fans and enemies. So if you're the enemy on the racing stuff, you're not going to like the social media stuff, regardless if he's right or not, right? So
Correct.
it's a love-hate because that blends, even though I tend to agree, and I've talked to a lot of people about this, I don't always love the on-track stuff. But the social media stuff, you're right. He's educated, he's involved, he's up to date. He watches. He's a student of the sport. He knows the history of the sport. He's typically right. You're right. And there's times where like I look at like who's the wingless guy? It's pretty Robert Ballou.
Yeah.
At times there's some similarities sometimes when I see like it's controversial, but he's probably pretty close to right on it. So that's an interesting way to look at that. I never really separated a lot of that stuff because there's times where I'm like, man, he did some dumb shit on the track Saturday, and then Monday he's tweeting about it. But I don't want to like the tweet, but he's probably right.
He's right.
Might be
You know,
right.
so that's an interesting take on that. I appreciate that answer.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
we went way
People-
sideways. Go ahead.
people are entertained. Like
Well, they're entertained.
I'm just gonna say, like you just said, like he uses Twitter a lot. Danny does. And I don't really do a lot on Twitter, but like the people are retweeting or they're commenting back, even though they might be calling him an asshole.
Yep.
They're still reading
They're
they're
still
reading.
involved.
They're still
Right.
involved.
It's engagement.
And you know what? Then people are gonna come watch him race. And I'll tell you something else that gets me about Danny, and I'll just always laugh about it. I tell Heather about this. People bitch about him. People bitch about stuff he says or does. Then the Outlaws come to town.
They love him.
Yep. And then they're
And
loving
all of a sudden you do good.
Yep.
And what happens?
They're
A lot
cheering
of
him.
them people are out are Pennsylvania Posse fans, is my point.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We are a fickle bunch, aren't we? We can easily be swayed when the Outlaws come to town. And listen, there's the other part of that is that's why do you think the Outlaws a lot of times there was a year or two that this happened, maybe not last year so much when the Outlaws were getting ready to come to town. You saw Outlaw people starting tweeting at Danny, starting chirping a little bit to Danny. Why do you think Danny was the first one they chirp at?
Yeah.
Because it's going to draw the fans and it's going
Yep.
to be, it's noteworthy, it's newsworthy. So it is the entertainment as much as, we're small scale in the sports entertainment business in Central PA, but there's some truth to it because if we were all if it didn't have any personality, why are people going to show up, right?
Yeah.
Love or hate.
Yeah. Hey, I got a question. I gotta know something. I'm like looking at you guys. I'm just like seeing what you're, Chris, you're sitting in a race car seat,
Yeah.
with a steering wheel.
Yeah.
What are you
got
doing
one-
over there?
I got one back here as well.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
We're
Jay-Z's
iRacers.
got his F1 steering wheel,
Kind of, almost like a GT3 wheel a little
paddle
bit.
shifters and everything.
Yeah.
Holy
It's
shit.
paddle. Go zoom, buddy. Not
So
as much fun
we-
as like a real one, but we don't
Hey,
have to
all
pay
I
for
want to
anything.
do is a zoom, and a boom, boom.
So, quick backstory: we all really met through an iRacing league. It's a Pennsylvania posse league. It's only Pennsylvania guys. We only race PA tracks.
Oh,
It's great. And the point of it kind of was we made friends and we all meet at the track now. Now we got a big group that we meet with every week, and it's been great.
Yeah.
It's been awesome. We had great friends out of it, and we have a cool little group going
That's
on. So
awesome.
that's
You know-
where all this comes from.
Yep. When was it the Rat Bag game? Was that the first version?
Yeah.
Of it was it PS2, I think, right? And then it went to the online.
Right.
And I did some of that. Me and Brian Lebo with Boz Racing League, we did some stuff on there, and I think Steve Wilbur was in there. That was a good time. Force feedback wheel, yeah.
It's interesting, like I even Kyle Keene. I didn't know Kyle Keene until iRacing. Now we're really close friends, and it transitioned into the track, and Cody Hartlaub and Troy Wagaman, Ryan Smith, a couple of these guys. Now Ryan, not that Ryan, sorry, the real Ryan Smith,
The
who's
real
not
Ryan
the
Smith.
race car driver, our buddy Ryan Smith. But I met them at Speedway 94, right? So it was between iRacing, Speedway 94. Like I met Troy Wagaman before he raced a race car at Speedway 94. He was kicking
Oh
our
yeah,
ass.
the king of Speedway 94, Troy Wagaman.
I mean,
There it
he weighed like 84 pounds. I'm a grown ass adult. Like I was never going to beat this kid, and he was good at it. And he got in a race car, and he's grown. But like, it's funny how that stuff away from the racing kind of all brought us to it together as friends.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
Now Troy Wagaman's flexing in front of everybody on Facebook. Showing off his guns. Now he's single.
We kind of dig on him on the selfies a lot. Oh my
I hope
God.
you watch it, Troy.
I hope he is too. I'm actually going to tag him. I hope he is.
Yeah.
I hope
doubt
he's
it,
watching
but-
it.
He's
Either
gonna
way.
be. I think he's gonna be flexing on top of that wing a lot this year too. By the way. So.
Oh yeah, probably.
So
What
going
happened
back,
now? I'm blurry now.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
it's all. Yeah,
Maybe
no, it's just good
me.
focus.
Heather, help him, save him.
It's getting hot over here, boys.
It's not you.
You may have to like slide off to the side and come back.
I think you just refocus when you moved. Yeah, come back in there. There you are.
hey, it's like
Hey.
magic.
The IT guys here.
So going back, so you've never raced a full-time season. You went back 99. How long did you say 58 racing? Was that a long time? Like a decade?
Oh yeah, we're supposed to talk about racing on here.
We're
Talk
trying to talk about
about
your racing. We're trying to make it about you here, and you keep trying to make it about all the fun stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
We love it, but we want to talk about
Okay.
it too.
So what was the question?
How long did you stay in 358s before you came back to 410 land?
So we dabbled in 410s a little bit off and on the whole time. And then see here. 04, we won the track title with Trailways. 05, we won it at Lincoln. 09, we won it back at Trailways again. And then 2012. Back to 410s in 2012. You haven't been back to 358 since then.
Was it just made more business sense then to move up, or you just weren't having fun in 58s anymore?
Yeah, that's right around the time that they changed the rules, 358s, which means they went with no rules, which is bad. And that's why all these guys are going to go 410 racing now, in case you guys don't know about it. All these 358 guys and 305 guys, which they're spending all this money on these cheap motors, which aren't cheap anymore. So now they're going 410 racing.
Yeah,
That was right around the time where they had a meeting. The tracks all had a meeting because they weren't doing any tech. And they said, well, handful of guys raised their hands, and these guys were winning all the time. There's no secret. There was like 3 or 4 or 358s that were like super fast in the area, and they were all cheating. But nobody was checking anything. So at that point in time, we bailed. We were out. You might as well go 410 racing.
Is that like the Corey Haas, Pat Cannon days?
Yep.
Those,
That Highlands number 3 car you're saying?
Yeah.
PJ, he had Derek Locke type of years back in the day at Williams Grove. Like he was unbeatable almost.
Yep.
I mean,
It
him and
was
Haas
wherever
were
he
at the
started
front.
at, wherever
Yeah.
Pat Cannon started at, we used to do bets, and we're like, all right, he started 12th. I think that's not deep enough.
Yeah. Yeah, we went from like being literally in contention to win every night to we're like running 5th maybe.
Yeah.
Over the winter. And nothing changed, except for
Right.
these guys we got like 3/10 faster. How'd that happen? So
Not magic. So looking in, so how was the transition back to 410s? I think you've had a pretty good year last year.
yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, we came back and we won a race that year, 2012. I think we won a race a couple years. Each year they won a couple of races here and there. Path Valley won a race there. Dog Hollow won some races. It was good, a lot of changes over the years. And really that's, I kind of lean on my brother a good bit for that because he races so much and I only race, once a week. And yeah, so like he helps me out with stuff and it's good.
Sure. So I'll ask one question here, and I know Jeremy's got a couple lined up, and I know Jimmy's going to probably start firing off here. So my question, now that you got a 75 race schedule, if you ever take, you have a lot of races. What would be the one that what race would you most want to win? Like in any sprint car race in the country, even if you're not racing it this year, but now you're kind of racing more often and building.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think it would be really cool to win at the Grove. And I'll tell you why. I don't really have any race picked out, but there isn't many father and 2 sons I can think of that have won at the Grove, 410s. I really don't know. I mean, I know, of course,
I don't know. I can look
I
it
don't
up.
know either.
I don't think there's
I
might
know
be
you guys. I don't know either. So,
father and 2 sons. I don't know that there's any.
Did Brandon ever win at?
Brandon has not won at the Grove
No.
yet.
So
Nope.
then no.
no,
And he doesn't race there a ton. I mean, he's raced, but not a ton. Kind of like almost like Billy's laps at the Grove lately. He doesn't, we had him on the podcast a bunch of weeks back, and work kind of takes over there, and Friday nights are tough for him. So, But yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't.
So,
I would be stunned, honestly, if there was one.
yeah, I mean,
Look
we've done it.
around.
Obviously, we've done it at Lincoln. So so have some other people at Lincoln. My dad's won at Port Royal as well as Danny. We just don't really race there at all, so it'd be hard to do. But to me, that's like kind of on the top of my list. Like, if I could just win a race at the Grove, it'd be like some, historical value for me per se, if that's the right word. If I'm making any sense on that.
No,
Yeah,
that's
100% sense.
awesome sense. And I agree because
Yeah.
Warriors goes the best track. So
Yeah. Same way with BAPS. I've been racing the BAPS for a long time, off and on, and never won a race there. So I'd like to win there. My wife loves BAPS, don't you, dear?
I do not.
No, it must be a bathroom thing.
Is it because of the dirt?
It's
Yeah.
the dirt.
No, it's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday. It's
Oh,
dirty.
yes.
It's loud. She's tired.
I read about the dirt sticking and not getting out of your clothes for weeks.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
How
they
long
did
did it
something-
take you to call it BAPS?
I call it Tusky. Yeah.
I still do sometimes.
I'll just say that the only reason I still call it BAPS is we have a group chat on Snapchat that somebody called BAPS as a shithole.
Fair.
I
The
didn't
Taj-
do
the
that.
The Taj Mahal of shitters.
Just
The
said
Taj
that's the
Mahal
name
of
of the group.
shitters.
BAPS is a shithole. I just
Taj
say it
Mahal.
like that. Boss of shithole.
I mean, there for a while, it was that track. I mean, they've definitely gotten.
They did.
Uh,
They did really good now. I'm just
They,
making
they
fun
have
of
for
them.
sure.
Yeah.
No, it's still
We
a
love
real
it.
thing.
Everybody gets the flames.
Even the crowd is unique at BAPS. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
It's a good word.
I hate that. I mean,
Unique.
it's my home track. It's 20 minutes from me. I'm
I'm
south
sorry.
of even there, but I know, right? No one's perfect. I can change that. I can move. So Seth, I like Seth's question here. What I got a
We gotta ask
asphalt
this
car
now.
story at BAPS. What is that?
Asphalt car story at BAPS.
Question mark.
Asphalt car story at BAPS.
Did you
It's
run
like
something
Jeopardy.
that
I'm
doesn't
trying to come up
belong?
with an answer here. I have no idea what this jabroni's even talking about.
Is this one of those fan deals where they let the fans race each other, or is there something involved with that at all?
Asphalt story. Well, I
The
don't know about
97.
that. I did.
The 97.
He said the 97.
Oh, I know what he. Yeah. So Seth Dietrich's obviously my son.
Right.
He's
So-
upstairs in his bedroom. I don't know what he's doing up there.
He's
I-
watching your interview.
He's
I
watching
presume.
Clearly watching the podcast.
He never comes out of that room.
Never know what he's doing up there.
Yeah. I know.
You don't want to, buddy. You don't want to.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, we had a sprint car that was an asphalt car, is what he's getting at. And we converted it to dirt, and I ran it there. Back when Todd Fisher had, okay, this is like the original, this is where the original, slogan came from for the group, like back when Todd Fisher had the track.
Yep.
Okay. Let's put a little clarity on that.
Yep.
Anyway, it was an asphalt track or an asphalt car. That's what he's getting. But I do have a little fun fact about back then. They used to have, maybe you guys remember this, the school bus races on Thursday night.
I've heard of these. I never
I-
saw one, but I've
yeah.
heard of these.
Yeah. So I raced the school bus against Keith Kaufman, one of the legends, like the
Really?
best, right? He won, but I
That's what I
still
would
did it.
expect.
I did it.
That had to be fun, though.
How many?
So
people
those-
that story?
how much do you know about the school bus races back then? I mean, were guys cheating up school buses, or was it literally?
How could you cheat up a school
race?
bus?
It was just time. Like you just time your laps. There's no cheating.
Oh, okay.
They provided the buses.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
So Keith Kaufman's legit, huh? He's actually a real race car driver.
Yeah,
he was
he's
good at
good.
it. Turns out. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, you should-
And just to type up my question there, I do not see any father to sons to win at Williams Grove through
No.
their win list. So unless some
There you go.
stat guy out there can correct me, I don't see one.
Well,
Go
ahead.
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to say, because I feel bad now, I said all this stuff. Like, I really think BAPS is doing a good job.
They are.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
No.
I mean, they got an
I mean,
outlaw
we
race
agree.
this year. I think
Yeah.
they're,
Doing a good
I mean,
job.
we agree. We agree.
When we talk about that, it's current time because we all know what it was and what it is. So,
Right.
and I know
Big
people still
difference.
love it, hate it. It's always put on a great show, no matter if it was the old BAPS or the new BAPS. It always tends to put on a good race, especially in a 410. It's a good job, and they're actually making more changes even to the track this year. So,
We plan on being
Jesus.
there.
Good.
Good.
Yeah,
What do you think? What do you think it takes to be good there? By the way, because your brother's pretty good. There's some guys that just seem to always be at the front at that place,
Yeah.
no matter what.
I
What do
agree.
you think it takes to be good there?
Man, if I knew that, I would do a
I
lot
would-
better right now.
I'd do that too. Fair enough. That's also a very good answer.
You know what? I think Danny just it suits his driving style. Like plain and simple. Like he just, like, I don't know. Like he's very like aggressive with the car there, and you can like really give it to it.
That place
Yeah.
gets real slick too, and Danny's very good in the slick.
Yeah,
that
good in
also
the slick.
helps.
So, we hadn't raced there in 2 years. We were there this year a couple times. Of course, it rained out, and then the end of the year we didn't go for whatever reason. Oh, I think my eye was hurt. My eye was hurt, but
yeah.
I'm excited to go back. I'm glad to put the guardrail back in the infield, back in 1 and 2, like it should be. And I think, without a doubt, the best racing, I think, majority of the time is at BAPS.
Yeah, I agree completely. So, question I have for everybody every week. You got to name 2 drivers here, okay? So, one driver you love racing around, you have a great time with, you trust, for whatever reason, you just have a good time racing around. And then the other one, the opposite of a driver that is just a pain in your ass, a pain in your side, hard to pass, run, not a personal thing, right? Just drivers on track, one of each. Someone you love racing around, someone who you've always just kind of struggled with.
Oh man.
It could be old, it could be in the
It's
past,
fun.
it could be current. Just to give you some context, Freddie Raymer's leading in the 410 question department of hard to race around, and Chris Frank in the 358. So if you're still watching, Chris,
You got a lot of fans
you're
out there,
leading
buddy.
that division. So, and
So
for
wait a
the
minute. People don't want to race around Chris Frank.
I've had two. We've had two
had
people
two.
now.
It's not they don't want to race
Oh my
around.
Not that they
God.
don't want to race.
It's
well,
not
because
yeah.
he kicks their ass.
one
He's
was
hard to pass, like Ryan Newman type of.
running the same
Yeah.
line I
Kidney
do.
stones and
Stuff like that.
it was
I'm just
definitely
gonna say that-
respectful. But
You guys are going to see an all-new Chris Frank this year. I can just feel it. He's going to be on the hammer and on the fence.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. I
I don't
have a
believe
hard.
you.
I'm just
I
sticking
don't
it out
believe you.
there.
I'm gonna believe it when I see it.
I
But
saw him Saturday night. He was here doing shots of Jack Daniels. I'm pretty sure he's ready.
He's ready to
he's
rip.
ready to rip the top. He's gonna run the. He's gonna run the Borden top too. It's not even just the top.
There's a guy you got to keep your eye on.
Okay, maybe that's your answer.
I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't really have a good. I don't have. This is like an awkward question for me because
It's supposed to be.
That's
I
that's
love
why that's the point.
I talk to so many people, and
There you
let me
go.
think
He's
about
in.
this.
He's been. I guess
There
you're
he
giving
is.
him
He's
some
here.
giving some lessons about the top.
Yeah, I don't mean like
I
back in
don't
the
think-
day.
this feels like
Okay,
a trap.
so
This is a slippery slope right there.
we'll just throw it way back. So like
That's
58 racing, we had a good time. I always had a good time racing with Brad McClellan. We were friends. We raced hard. We raced clean. The racing the trailways back then was pretty intense. Like it was tight racing, and trailways used to get like 30 cars on a Friday night. People don't even realize that.
That's
'cause
what Capetta said too, right?
Yeah.
It was Capetta the other week.
towards the end, they were getting 12, 15 cars, but like in the height of there were nights where they were running 2B mains.
Yeah.
So
That's
I think
crazy.
24 cars on a little track. So he was probably like, I had a good time racing with him. People I didn't like to race with, I don't know. There's guys out there, yeah, you can definitely say like Freddie, he's just gonna drive at you. It's just like a jerk move, like pass you, but like don't drive at somebody's wheels. I get it. He gets it from his old man. His dad did the same thing. It just gets old. And wait a minute, did he win the truck title at the Grove this year?
Grove?
No.
Oh, no, he didn't.
I see what he did. I see what he did.
Ah.
Boom, 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 boom. There it is.
Oh.
There's the Macho Man right there.
Yeah, I'm just sticking it out there.
You know what?
Looking out for his little brother again.
We had this show perfect if he was here tonight. We had this with Dietrich and a Raymer on the same night. He knew it was Wild Bill, so he was
Where's
like,
he
I'm
at?
out. I'm
Yeah,
out.
he's like.
He's working on the car.
That's what he
Yeah.
said. They said that.
Yeah. They say they moved to tonight as a work
we-
night because of Thursday instead of it being later in the week. It sounded like
See,
so.
Billy, I only talk to you. I don't know what Freddie's doing. That's Jay-Z's job.
That's
I
cool.
I
Gotta
won't-
get
listen. It'll be fun. I don't know him. I've only seen his personality. What you see on like what you see. You don't. I've never walked up to you. I mean, I know your personality because you kind of put it out there. He's not the type to kind of YouTube. He's not overly charismatic in a sense naturally, but I'm interested to see kind of how the interaction and it goes next week. I mean, I think people still want to hear from him regardless of love or hate, right? It's the same thing. So,
hey, Jay-Z, I kind of feel like we're like best friends now.
oh, I'm in.
We just become best friends.
Do you get?
Yep. Do you want to do karate in the basement? I'm like,
don't touch my fucking drums.
Touch my fucking drums. I know cops doesn't start till 4. All right.
Hey, hold on one second. Seriously though, like I enjoy racing. I know we're like having fun.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy racing with everybody per se. Like I don't have a grudge with anybody. Okay. But there are certain people you just like when you're racing around them, you gotta keep around them. Because if they have a shot at you, it ain't you, it's everybody. They're gonna like
take the shot.
They're just gonna run at you. And there are a lot of guys that, like the other 98% of the guys, they're respectful. I mean, racing's racing. You're gonna have moments where you're gonna rub wheels, and I haven't had a run-in with anybody in a really long time that I would say anything was like blatant. But just saying, sticking out there, like it happens, but you just gotta like, you guys watch enough races, you probably see it.
Yeah.
100%.
Which is where the question came from.
Which is why it's fun.
right.
And again, it's not the first week I've asked the question. It's not going to be the last week I asked the question.
So
I didn't develop.
All your other future guests, note that.
It's the same thing. I didn't come up with the question to create drama or bring up drama. It was really it could be a lot of reasons, right? Because somebody
I think
actually
initially
said
it was because I think about NASCAR Ryan Newman, hard to pass, you get behind him, like,
hard to pass,
bitch,
just a thorn in your side.
And
like
the first couple of drivers took it like, oh, this guy, and we're like, whoa, that's not what we meant.
and listen, it can be that. It'd be like, hey, listen, we know we don't like each other. It's okay. I can say it. But I don't want anyone to create something that ain't there. That's not what I'm going with that. It is that, like, that Ryan Newman kind of thing I always talk about. Like, they always said NASCAR, man, he makes his car twice as wide as it actually is, and you can't pass the damn guy, or someone hard to race around. You don't, and I don't want it to be a personal thing. Like, that's not where I'm trying to go with it. Right. So, that's a good one.
Fun.
That's where Frank comes into it, because they're like how well he runs the bottom, and like it's just like he's an animal, and it's just like you're drawing along, you think you're doing good, and all of a sudden there he goes, like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. Hey, I'm just sitting here thinking while we're talking, probably the hardest guy to pass that I could ever remember racing with was Bobby Weaver.
No shit.
I mean, like, I don't know what it was. I almost feel like it was, I don't know, like he would always enter the corner kind of wide enough where you couldn't get around him, but he wasn't in the bottom.
And he close it off.
And you know what? He was just like fast enough. And I seen other guys way faster than me over the years that had the same problem. So I'm just saying.
I remember watching the end of Bobby Weaver's career and couldn't believe that, like, he wasn't winning a ton of races at the end there, and he didn't have obviously great new equipment, but man, did he just show up every damn week and was competitive. Like, he wasn't winning races, like I said, but I haven't thought about that in a long time, but you're 100% right in that description. Like, just there.
That's what you call a real racer. Just want to race.
Just want to race. I agree. 100%. And it's in the age of the competitiveness, and I want to win and spend the money. You just don't see a ton of that right now.
There's a guy like used to build his own motors, do all his own stuff.
Still building motors, I think, to my knowledge.
Now ain't nothing like that. But anyway,
no doubt. Chris or Jimmy, what do you got, man?
Let's just got a couple more questions in the chat here. Actually, this is one from Michael Murphy. He messaged us over the week and asked, what do you think about the new Hoosier? Did you even get your hands on one yet?
First part of the question, what do I think? I think that if what they're telling us is true, it'll be good for the racer. A harder tire, which hopefully unhooks the car, makes for better racing. Hopefully it lasts longer, which would be great because the tires are expensive. We sell Hoosier tires at our shop, Racers New and Used Parts Warehouse. Me and Danny, my dad worked there. So hopefully that's all comes true. The second part of the question, I have not physically seen one. don't know if I will see one until the day of, I guess,
fifth
the Outlaw
race.
show.
Yeah.
Because that's what
Wow.
they're saying. It has to be.
So with that being said, that question, you're saying that there's potential that they show up with the truck, hand you all out the new tires, you bolt them on and go racing. You don't know what you got.
Well, I mean, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it? But
Well, if it's it can change everybody's program.
Yeah, I'm with you.
do.
Like, we just don't know. Like, it's like a weird time we're in. Like, and I don't know if they just don't want to cause a stir by giving the tires out already and giving somebody an opportunity to go somewhere and
Test
practice.
it, maybe.
Yeah, somebody an unfair
practice.
advantage. Yeah.
Right. And so as of a week ago, that was the word I was told, pretty official, that there wasn't going to be anything released until probably the 1st of March-ish. And
are you running the Outlaw show? Since you might have brought it up. Sorry. I was just thinking about that. The Lincoln Outlaw show, at least.
I don't know just yet. We're still talking about it.
I guess in turn the Grove Outlaw show, since is that part of the deal or no?
What's that? I'm sorry.
The Grove Outlaw show that same weekend, is that part of the 12-car deal?
Yeah. So we'll be at the Grove in Barry's car. That's definitely going to happen.
Cool.
And the Outlaw show at Lincoln's still a little bit up in the air for us, whether we're going to do it or not.
I guess it depends if Nate has pink eye or not, but go ahead, JC.
No,
he's got something wrong with him.
I won't dig in any further on that. Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy. What else you got?
This is another one from Aaron Keene before. Since Wild Bill going to surprise us with a high limit race at Lernerville or Grandview or both? And a kind of follow-up question, how do you feel about the whole high limit deal?
The first part of the question, probably not the Lernerville high limit race. I think no. If we go to Lernerville, I was thinking about going for the Silver Cup. I think is in July.
Yeah,
possibly. I don't know. That was all prior to talking to Barry and putting this deal together with Barry.
Right.
Now we did mention about going to Grandview because it's kind of not, it's not as far away.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say if there's going to be one, it might be Grandview.
Cool.
We might see us at Lernerville maybe for the Silver Cup. We were there last year for the fast race at the end of the year, the Commonwealth Clash. I liked it. I like it out there. We can have a good night there. We got wrecked out in the very first lap of the race. But
you enjoyed that, huh?
That's a long drive home.
That's a long drive home.
That's a long drive home.
Yeah, there you go. What do I think of the High Limit Series? I mean, I think it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see anything. I don't personally see anything wrong with it. I feel like all the buzz that was created in the off season probably did some good. The pressure put on the Outlaws, or but more racing, more money. The big shows are going to obviously bring new fans in. So good.
Yeah, I think with the promotion of it and who's running it, and I think the only people that are going to be upset about it are anybody affiliated with the World of Outlaws at this point. If you're not affiliated with the Outlaws in one or two whatever connections, I don't see it being a bad thing for anyone.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you.
Right.
What's next?
So I had a question too, because I have my own opinions on this with the Outlaws, since you brought that up with the putting the pressure on the Outlaws. How do you feel about this exclusivity bonus that they're running? Because like I said, I have my own opinions on it, but I'm also not a racer, and I know you don't, you're not out on tour or anything, but like, how do you feel about that? Like, do you think it kind of, I feel like it puts the teams in a weird spot.
I think that the Outlaws are doing the right thing.
Okay.
And here's why I say that. You're not going to go to the Grove for the National Open if half the Outlaws ain't there.
Right.
Or something along them lines.
Right.
Back in the day, if Steve Kinzer and Sammy Swindell didn't show up, I would have been disappointed. Mm-hmm. If they're racing somewhere else and they run out of equipment or something silly happens. So I feel like it was a good compromise. And on the other side of that, I kind of thought all along it was kind of silly that any of these guys would even consider not racing with the Outlaws with all the benefits, the purse, the points, the merch.
Yeah.
Think about the merch sales these guys are raking all the money on now. I mean, I tell you right now, that's like another thing that really aggravates me with the Outlaws coming. We're kind of off topic, but the Outlaws coming to Lincoln.
I know where this
You
goes.
can't sell the merch. You know, I feel like
Yeah,
these local
right.
tracks of ours really screw us. We're there every week. We support you. We support you every week. The least you can do is say, you know what? You guys come on in. We'll rope off your area down here, park your big rigs. You can sell your shirts on T-Shirt Alley, Heather Dietrich, and Aaron Bollinger's mom, and all of these people.
So you can't even go. Like I know past years the workaround was you all are selling merch at the parking lot,
Parking lot.
which sucks as far as foot traffic goes from like a merchandiser standpoint. For like that's kind of what I do. That sucks as foot traffic. You're not getting that boost. Like if I want Billy Dietrich merch, I know where to go find it at. But you're looking at an Outlaw show. There's so many people there. Like look at that nice electric blue shirt you just came out with. Like I want to buy that son bitch. Like
Yeah.
I get it. That's interesting.
Yeah, somebody comes in from out of town. Let's face it, you know how it is. People come from all over for the weekend of the Outlaws. They may watch us on YouTube. They're watching this right now, Turn 2 Terribles, and they want us to get a T-shirt. Well, guess what?
You have to go.
We're in the back 40 over here outside Turn 2.
Yeah, and I agree with you guys, and I've never understood it locally because your shirts are there every week, right? Now there's new fans coming in.
Oh.
If they're coming in for an Outlaw to see Brad Sweet race, do like you have the potential to pick up some business, but if the Outlaws really think their merch sales are going to go down because Aaron Bolling or Billy Dietrich or anybody's shirt,
Billy just
it makes
said
no
happens
sense.
the other way. You have our people buying the Brad Sweet, the Donny Shots shirt because they're only here 6 times a year.
Exactly.
Now.
I think it's just counterproductive. It goes against,
especially in this area, counterproductive.
Well, yeah, because if the Outlaws go to the middle of Michigan and they have 2 local racers,
right?
They only run this rule for a couple areas. They run this rule for California, Pennsylvania, maybe Ohio,
right?
Because that's all that matters. Everywhere else they might go, there isn't this to my knowledge, this huge local racer base with merch and at the level we do it. So it's really pointed at 3 areas of the country and the rest doesn't matter. To me, it boggles my mind. I agree with you completely. I just don't see where that they're going to have some knock in their sales, but because every week you guys have your merch there. So why would it change? In fact, you might pick up a shirt or 2 from people buying a Sweet shirt and a Billy Dietrich shirt.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. You're walking by you want to buy a local shirt. Oh, that's cool. Like you just
said,
have
your
cool.
PA. You have
never been to a race before.
From your shirt this year. It's like a perfect postcard. I want the PA to watch whatever. And Billy Dietrich has a sweet PA shape on the back and the license plate, Wild Bill, the whole shit. Like,
I'm
buying one of those shirts.
It's all of it.
I'll see Heather.
In your experience, is that the Outlaws dictating to the track, or the track just saying is that how that works?
I think it's the Outlaws.
I think it's an Outlaw contract.
Yeah. And I remember you guys probably do too. I don't know, maybe 3-4 years ago when Tony and Stuart were still racing.
Mm-hmm.
Remember at Volusia, they made him jerk his rig out there because he couldn't sell his merch. So I think he hauled ass. And maybe Christopher Bell drove the car or something or something. But so whatever. I think the local tracks. That's a whole other topic. The rules, the local tracks, the Outlaws. My opinion on that, I'll just stick this out there real briefly. They probably need us more than we need them.
Yeah. How does the Grove get away with it?
I think them, Eldora, and Knoxville have a special clause.
You got to race at least 6 races. You got to have, I think there's going to be 6 races scheduled for you to be able to sell your merch.
No way.
Grove,
that shifty bridge, buddy. Out there, you Grove haters, they're doing wonders for us.
You know what? We have a connected 410 driver in here to the sport. What is going on with the bridge? Do you know anything that we don't know?
I don't know anything about it.
Oh, that's what your people told you to say. Okay, all right, they got to him. They got to him. No, somebody said that. I just saw a picture the other day, yesterday, maybe on Facebook, that they pulled in. It's still there. I never. And we talked about this the other week on the show. Everyone last fall at the National Open was taking pictures in front of the bridge, and that was the talk of the whole facility. Yet nobody officially said it was leaving. That matters.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, and we talked about that. It's there. We're gonna be there in a
Yeah,
couple weeks.
Chris Frank was just there spraying bugs the other day.
It's still there.
Somebody dropped some sprinkles in the infield, and he was spraying bugs, and there was a bridge there.
Yeah, so it's not going
I
anywhere.
guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
I think
just
we're getting. Go ahead. Last question there.
Yeah, last question, just real quick from Jarrett Bay. Bridgeport is calling your name, Bill. How much do you? We all know how much you miss it.
I know Jarrett. What's up, buddy? I was at Jarrett's Christmas party. We had a good time. Bridgeport's calling my name. Hey, if we're coming to your house, Jarrett, let's do it, dude. Got a whole liquor shelf down there. There's a pool table. There's a racetrack there too.
Sounds like a bar with a racetrack at it.
Yeah, I struggle at Bridgeport. I don't know what it is. I talked to my brother about it. He struggles there too. I feel like the banking is so great. Like it just fouls you up. Like you come
How far do you go?
Banking. You come off that banking, there's such a change in speed between the guy on the inside, the guy on the outside. It's almost like you gotta set your car up different for that. I think Doug Rose does a great job with his promotion of all his tracks. Like, kudos to that guy. You know what? I feel like most of the tracks around here that we race at, we're so lucky to have all these great promoters. I tell you another one, like Path Valley, they're putting all the money into that track. Look at that place.
Yeah.
You know? They deserve some more 410 races. The Speedway race would be great there. But all these places we're lucky to have. They put all this money into the tracks. So we're very, very fortunate to be here and have all this racing. But Bridgeport, and they charge you to get across that bridge. What's up with that?
It's a Jersey thing. We don't understand.
Yeah.
Dirty Jersey, come on.
Dirty Jersey, man.
It's a Jersey thing. We wouldn't understand.
Oh man.
It's like another country over there.
It is.
Quick shout out to our buddy Alex Robinson, who was a guest on this show twice, is actually the new announcer there. So congratulations to him.
Oh, that's cool.
So, anyways, listen.
Modified racing is good. I watched it there. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
The Wingless stuff was good. I went in the fall. I got that Wingless stuff, man. Those guys they get after it at that place.
Yeah.
Those sliders for days, man. And like you said, that banking is wild. Watching the 410 race there, that track, it's so wide in the corners, and the banking just keeps going. You don't know how far you should go. Like, okay, I'm up here high enough. Is this too far out that I can't? No matter how big the run is, I'll never get to that guy off the short way around. You don't know how to gauge how far you need to go and where's the cushion if there is one. And you see guys get up there, they get real tight because the banking, and then they come down off the hill, and I can't imagine. It looked difficult watching it. I can't imagine how it is for you guys.
It's like nothing I've ever raced on.
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely different than we have around, for sure.
Okay, I got one more before we let you go.
You got
every time.
Wait, what's that? No, just one more. Was this? I'm about to put a picture up. Was this your number one fan interaction in the pits you ever had in your entire career?
Oh boy, here we go.
Son of a bitch.
Oh yeah.
What an asshole.
I remember that night like it was yesterday.
Same. Absolutely.
Sorry, I had to throw it up there.
Dude, my face is really dirty.
I think that might have been the night you finished. You may have finished second that night. You may have finished second that night. That might have been the night you finished second.
Oh, that was at the Grove?
Yeah, it was at the Grove.
Judging by the smile on your face, maybe.
You had the tape on the tape number 4 on there.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah.
That may have been it.
So let's thank some sponsors, man. Let's get you out of here. You spent an hour and a half with us. We can't thank you enough.
Fantastic.
Oh, and your busy evening. Thank some sponsors. Shout out who you got helping
Heather's
out this year.
Bed.
Yeah, I gotta thank Heather because she's my wife. No, she is. No, seriously, I want to thank you guys for having me. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully, I wasn't too crazy.
Absolutely
no,
not.
Perfect.
No, not at all.
You made a lot of fans.
We had a good time
here and in the chat, so that's awesome.
Yeah. So just a shout out to my team, my crew, all my crew guys. We have a whole blend of people helping this year. You know, if you watched YouTube videos, you probably heard about Nate. So we got some people helping out, filling in. So we're excited about that.
He's already doing
new merch. Yep, the new merch. Check out BoDietrich.com. Heather does the YouTube stuff, which is awesome. All the sponsors on the car, appreciate them. And I'm ready to go racing. Simple as that.
Let's go.
Ready to see you Thursday night, buddy. Let's get it.
We'll come out and see you Thursday. I don't know if Jimmy's going to make it. He has actually. He lives in like New York, so
I'm actually going to be even further north. I'll be in Williamsport that day, so I won't make it.
Jimmy hates traveling on weekdays because
He's an
Jimmy.
adult. He
'Cause
has to,
I've worked the next
He's
day
a
and stuff. So.
Bloomsburg
Yeah.
simp. So
Hey, I want to
but
thank all the
we will be
fans
there.
too.
Yeah.
Thank all the
Hell
fans.
yes.
Fans.
Thank
I'm
you all the
watching all the
fans.
chat here popping up. There's lots of good stuff over here. So
Yeah, it's been fun.
Cool.
It's been great.
It's
Good
been
shit.
a great
appreciate
time.
it. I
Well,
appreciate
hopefully-
everybody.
Hopefully, we have you back sometime. Hopefully, after a victory.
After a win,
our,
man.
Our
Monday
rules
after a
are
win.
when you win, you come back.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or whatever you want. You can actually do
Let's
whatever
talk
you want.
about it. Drink some
You
beers
just tell
together.
us. You tell us
Sounds
when you want to
good.
come back. You can come back.
Cool,
Macho
man.
Man can come on the show. Whatever you want to do.
We'll stop by Thursday in the pits. Good luck to you this
Rack
week,
daddies.
man.
Rack
Rack
daddies.
daddies.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Billy.
See you.
Take care, bud.
Wild Bill Dietrich, man, that was
I
probably our best interview we've ever had. Awesome.
needed that. I appreciate it. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
That definitely
was,
changed my week right there, man.
Yeah. That he's our level. He's right on our level there. That's the turn two terrible attitude right there that he has. I love it. So
Degenerate level, like where he'd be a good
Having
turn
fun.
two terrible.
That's awesome.
yeah, absolutely. So
Post-race Billy Dietrich, post-racing career. You have a job. You have mine.
Yeah, I'm in.
so
It's all yours.
we had a lot of new fans tonight. We really appreciate it. Thanks to Bill, obviously, for that. But we had like over 100 viewers almost this entire time. For probably one of our biggest shows, and this will be up on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, all the podcasting platforms here. If you get a chance, please like, subscribe, hit that bell or whatever, and share it with your friends, because we're trying to do more of this. And as the season gets going here, we're going to try to get some drivers on. We're going to talk about what happened
Weekend's
that week,
events.
the week
Right.
events, and
Speaking
also
of
we want to
which-
hear we want the feedback from you guys live too, to keep that conversation going.
Before we go too off track, Christopher Noel there, back to the Daytona 500. Before we touch on that, definitely recommend BillyDietrich.com for the merch. The merch
BillyDietrich.com.
looks sick.
Support the
We'll
racers, man.
definitely
That's why
put
we're
the
doing
link
this.
up when we share it. 3 different shirts, blue, gray, black, because black's definitely the color to wear. I'm wearing purple for Jordan Givler, but hoodies, red and black, I think it is. The hats are cool. Definitely BillyDietrich.com for that.
Get your asses
Daytona
to the
500.
racetrack.
Get to the track this weekend
Hold on.
if you can.
I have a
Yeah.
public service announcement. Okay. There's some tracks I'm hard on. There's some tracks that I think are doing a great job. Shout out Lincoln Speedway for taking a chance this week. All of us on Thursday, we would be sitting around at our jobs doing whatever we're doing and going, man, they should be racing today. We've said that a million times over the winter. I've said it a couple times the last 3
We
weeks.
said it last week, right?
We said it last weekend. We talked about it. So shout out to Lincoln Speedway for taking a chance. Get your asses out, support the racetrack, buy a Billy Dietrich shirt, support it, man. Like, this is how it's going to get bigger. We're doing this to support the racers. They're going to show up and put on a show for us. We need to support them, and we need to show up with ticket sales. We need to show up with merch sales. If you can afford it, it's in your budget. Get your ass to the racetrack. It's going to be beautiful. That's
And
my
if you
PSA.
can't get it, if you can't get
Least
there,
this
you
weekend.
can watch it on Flow.
And
And
order
I
from
hope-
BillyDietrich.com.
Yes, and you could order your merch from BillyDietrich.com. And
Check
I
out the
hope-
YouTube too. The videos are phenomenal.
Yeah.
I love watching them. Also, I don't know
He's hilarious.
Dave Williamson, what Kane referring to. I have John Walp. Oh, this way. John Walp, number
John Walp.
5. Can Koozie.
No, he
Why-
said,
why
what's
not?
What's
in the can?
in the can? What's
Not
in
around
I
the
know.
can.
I wanted to prop the John Walp thing though.
Hey, from Wop
Shut up.
Wallopin.
the
Yes.
Wop and
That's
Wop
all.
man?
That's right.
I got a little Lance DeWeese action going on here
I don't have
got him.
anything tonight. I'm not.
well, way
with-
to
with a-
suck. So Daytona
with a
500
little banquet in it.
Hey,
little Fritz. We'll figure out something for little Fritz.
Christopher Noel,
Oh,
go ahead
okay.
and put that comment back up. What did we think
Yeah.
about the Daytona 500?
Daytona 500.
The Daytona 525? What was
yeah, it was pretty long.
I think it was this close to being phenomenal.
it? Uh-oh.
Sucks. Yeah, the IC light. Good old IC light. I don't know. I know it's NASCAR and the caution has to come out and all those things. I listened to the end of the race on radio with Kozlowski and Boucher leading. And when Kyle Busch and Dylan came around him, I thought that was going to be one of those cool kind of finishes, old school style. And a caution comes out. I get it. It's unfortunate. And you knew once the caution came out what was going to happen next. It was going to suck. So, at least for a lot of teams from the fan, I mean, tearing up that many race cars kind of sucks. Ricky Stenhouse, great for him, great for that team.
Yes,
Love
sure.
seeing a small team win.
Dirt
That's
guy.
one of the cool things about the Super Speedway stuff.
Dirt guy Ricky Stenhouse.
that dirt guy Ricky Stenhouse, but like that team as a whole, they've been through some stuff. So, I mean, I was kind of partial to Keselowski and Busch because it's the back quarter of their careers, I'd say.
Oh, we didn't ask Billy what he thought about Kyle Busch ripping off his number 8.
Oh
Damn.
yeah,
We'll get him next
same font, everything.
time.
No, but
Go ahead.
I agree completely. I don't even know if I had a sentimental favorite in that race because it's such a roll of the dice who's going to win
I
it.
just
I mean,
love new winners. Like that's
the
it for me
best
at this
car,
point.
the best car rarely wins it. It's not always even a car that ran up front. It's when you're up front at the right time once you get to the green white checker deal and you get to the restart deal, it's circumstantial as much as it is how the rest of the 98 miles went. So in my opinion, Austin Cindric has won this race. Michael McDowell, to me, it's just to me, it's lost the novelty it once had of a race. It turns out it's circumstantial at the end. Who's in the right spot when the yellow came out, when they crossed the line? This
Right.
technicality
And
thing of like
what
just
kind of ruined it for
I
me
don't know.
was up until that Suarez caution at the end, you had probably the best working cars as a team playing chess at
And listen,
189 miles an hour, whatever
right.
it is.
We've debated this amongst the three of us about the Suarez caution, whether it's right or wrong. But honestly, they could have went another 300 yards and had a yellow because 14 of them wrecked. We don't know, right? We don't know. We only know the looking back on it. And Jimmy made that argument, and he's right. I just like giving him shit about it in our chat.
We were just mostly disappointed that we missed out on.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
What it could have been.
it changed what was about to happen. But we don't know the future, right? Just like if the guys knew the future, would they have taken more fuel? Or was that the Xfinity race, right? They run out of fuel.
This one too.
This one too was
the same way.
right. This one was getting close too. And if they knew what the future held, they would have made different decisions. So we don't know how it was going to end up, but it probably would have ended up, even if Suarez didn't wreck and that didn't happen, they're probably going to pile 15 of them up in the next lap. So it doesn't really matter. I just think that the racing season starts this week. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I felt fine with it. I was fine with it just because I've grown so accomplished to what this is, what speedway racing is now. So it is what it is. I know we had
the ending. I think it was great going green for the whole first stage, just like the strategies and that was.
I think
amazing.
This is one of the best.
Was going to earn that, and
this is one of the best super speedway packages they've ever had with this car.
Really?
Okay,
I do
with this car
because they
this car, yes. Okay, good.
No, in the past, like 15, 20 years. To be honest, probably since the early 2000s.
There were two lanes, and that was it.
Yeah.
They didn't go 3 wide. Like
they're not single file. Not single file. And they had 3 wide. They tried 3 wide at the end. Guys just fell back if they didn't have the run. They could lay back and then they could push forward. That helps the idea. They get such great runs that you can come from 6th, 7th, and maybe make a run to the lead, but you got to choose that right line. It's not just single file nose to tail, pushing,
right. Well, what I heard
and thank God it's not tandem drafting. That was the absolute worst package that NASCAR ever had. That was the worst race.
Talk about runs though. Tandem kind of gave it. So these cars can get runs. But here's the thing: these cars can get runs, but as soon as you pull out, you're done. They have so much drag. It's a parachute. Nobody could pass each other unless you shuffle one guy out and the rest of the line goes by. You didn't see anyone drop out and pass someone on their own unless someone just got the momentum killed.
You didn't have that 15 years ago either. So
there at times you did. You could actually absolutely pull out and pass a car on your own. There was times you could do that, or make a 2-car run with a run and pass cars. This one is as soon as you pulled out a line, if you didn't have enough cars with you, you were stalling out. You're gone.
You had that a little bit because if they got the side draft, they were pushing cars up. It depends on how thick the pack was. Once they got spread out,
you had to rely on 15 cars, not 3. If you had, it was a numbers game, and that's okay. These cars just have so much drag, and in low horsepower, which is what they want. It created a pack for sure, but you couldn't do anything without a bunch of help. It was very hard to do, and the timing had to be perfect. So you didn't really see. You only saw those 2 lines just kind of doing this all day. They just did this dance all day like this. This is all they did all day long. And it created passes, for the lead in record amounts doing this all day.
But
this is all they did all day long.
They did that for the first half, but then in the second half, you see a lot of guys take chances, change lanes when it was dicey. and
Sure.
that's what it took to get up front. You had guys that made those moves, to get up there, and sometimes some of it paid off, some of it didn't. It's just kind of part of it, but I don't know.
I saw a tweet today about this week coming up, by the way, that the weather forecast looks like it could end up being a night race in Fontana for the last one.
Really?
That would be
That'd
kind of
suck.
cool. Really? I think
I
it'd be
like
kinda
hot
I think
cool.
it'd
slick
be fine.
tracks.
I mean, it'll be super ass late over here because it's California.
Yeah.
But like,
I just like hot slick tracks.
I mean, what,
Well, let's
8,
hope
9
that
o'clock
doesn't
there?
happen.
Yeah, I hear you. But that was our thoughts on Daytona. I don't know anything else there.
Yeah. Thanks for the
You see,
question.
Stenhouse took the trophy in the Waffle House. Did you
Yeah, I
see that?
saw that. That was pretty
That's-
cool.
Was that like who did that recently?
Was it Joe Burrow? No,
Yeah,
Trevor
no.
Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence
Trevor
did that
Lawrence
after he
took
won
the-
a playoff game.
won the playoff game. What else? What else, boys? What are we
One
thinking about here?
One more comment here from John. When I renewed my season pass this past week, he's talking about Lincoln here. Last Wednesday, I was whining to the lady on the phone that it sucked that the weather might not cooperate. Not taking credit, but wondered how many of us fans at the office know just how much we wanted the icebreaker to happen. I wonder if it had any effect on the management's decisions at all. Maybe.
I mean, I think the management they have every opportunity to do what the hell they want because they're not competing with anyone right now,
Right.
right? So if they said, hey, we're going to take a 2-day icebreaker and hope we get one in versus, hey, we have Saturday and Sunday's a rain date.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they have good weather for a weekend, we get 2 races. So they took
Right.
their shot. But either way, if you get one race, you get one race. Now they said, well, shit, 75 degrees on a Thursday. We don't have anyone going Friday racing. No cars are going to think about are we racing Friday? So now can we race Thursday? There's no Port Royal. There's no Sunday race. Well, we can do whatever the hell we want to do and see if it works.
Yeah, this is their
What's
weekend.
what's the risk?
Mhm.
If they race Thursday and okay, if the icebreaker was Saturday and it's 47 degrees, windy, and chance of whatever, and they actually have a race and they get a decent crowd and they have a decent car count. Now they go Thursday 75 degrees. We could get all the same cars we would have gotten Thursday and on Saturday, and at least now it's 75 degrees. They can't complain it's cold, right? If they can make it. Now you have fans show up. We're going to pay the same amount we would have on a low attendance Saturday cold. Drivers don't want to be there. Track might be shitty. At least they can work. I just don't see it as.
It's a low risk thing for them.
Yeah, I applaud their creativity, and they don't have anything to worry about.
Other than trying to just I think the fact that it's short notice is just what's kind of rubbing some people the wrong way, just because, like I said, some of these teams, maybe they want to get there, but they can't because their crew members have to work or they have to work themselves. Maybe the track workers too. Like, how did they figure that out? Because, a lot of those have full-time jobs as well. Like, they had to work all that out. So, I mean, yeah, it's low risk though. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then it wasn't even meant to be. So,
because if we end up with a race on Thursday and a race on Sunday, we got 2 races in with no competition and cars.
Mhm.
I just don't see a downside to it other than if it fails and they said, okay, well, we know
we've
know.
also never really seen flex scheduling like this. Like, usually it's like, oh, we're going to flex it instead of a 7 p.m. start time. We're going to start it at like 4 because of the weather or something like that. We never seen them add a date.
New.
Yeah,
right.
This is new. So, like Bill was saying, you can, with social media now, you could do it at a touch of a button now and get the word out there. So it works, and people that have to miss out on it are probably a little upset. So it is what it is. You can watch it on Flow though.
Steel City Demon, hearing 75 would be 40 by the time. I saw a low of 42 for the entire night, which is usually at like 3 a.m., not 9 p.m. So there's that. I'm not a meteorologist, and I haven't looked hour by hour.
It's been changing every day because it looked like it was gusty 2 days ago. It looked like it was going to be real gusty and maybe colder at night. Now it's looking like it might stay mild a little bit longer. It's weather, man.
Listen,
I mean, you're always fighting the weather all season long.
That's correct. I've been at icebreakers where it's been 42, windy, and cloudy, and you're freezing your absolute ass off, and they race.
Yeah.
We're about to have an Outlaw show on a Friday and Saturday nights coming up in March.
I think that's dumb, but
what are they going to do? I mean, I was surprised it wasn't daytime shows, but
Saturday,
I don't know.
Sunday day shows. That's what they should have done, in my opinion. But
I don't disagree with you, but if I guess we'll see. I mean, if it's a 7 o'clock on a Friday, Saturday night in March, they're not even going to have it if it's near freezing. if it gets there, and that's pretty common. But who knows? I mean, it's Central PA. We've had icebreakers in the same weekend be 65, and we had them be 35 and canceled. So I guess we'll just wait and see. It's no different. At least the teams are in the Northeast on the East Coast versus in California getting rained out. So it's less risk for the teams, and you might get a show or two in, outlaw wise. But yeah, any other thoughts?
Just excited to get PA racing going here, whether the weather holds out or not, whether I'm there or not. I'm happy to see cars on the track. In just a couple days here, and we really get to start talking racing here. It's been awesome talking to all these drivers, and we're going to continue to do that. It's been awesome to learn about these guys. There's so much that I've learned about racing and these drivers in particular, and we're going to continue to do that, but we'll also be able to talk actual results and actual things that we saw on the track, and that's going to be fun too. So thank you everybody for joining tonight. Chris, do you have any final thoughts?
No, I think it was an awesome show. Thanks Billy and Billy Dietrich for coming on, and that was much needed fun start to finish. Love it.
Thank you, Aaron. Aaron, we got a couple of you
man.
guys saying got a couple new followers tonight. We really appreciate it. That's the only way this thing goes.
And thank Billy Dietrich for bringing some people along here. That's kind of how this works. Hopefully, it's mutual benefit for our show and what we're trying to do.
BillyDietrich.com.
Get these guys out here, and
I'm on there right now. Look at that merch.
Hopefully, we brought some fans to got to know Billy a little bit, and hopefully, it's a mutual gain there. And next week we are trying to get Freddie back on here next week, and we'll see how the week goes and the weekend goes, but we might have another pretty good guest here lined up. So we their team reached out to us this past week. We want to try to get someone else on, and that'll be a good episode together if we get that both lined up. So hopefully we'll have
this. Have you seen these shirts? Oh wait, you guys didn't watch the YouTube. Sorry,
guys. Man, blue or gray though, man.
Dude,
I like
I know the blue. Look at the blue, the gray.
I would go with the
black.
I'm a blue guy.
Dude,
listen, it gets hot quick, man.
Blue.
Black is gonna, summer's coming, buddy. Fat guy season don't like black shirts. So,
go to BillyDietrich.com, check the merch.
Yep.
And yeah, that's all I got. Awesome show. Thanks, Billy.
What did he just say?
He's an idiot. Not Billy. Smeal. Smeal's an idiot. Billy's a smart guy. I'll see Billy Thursday. Jay-Z, hopefully see you Thursday.
Hope so.
Jimmy?
Hopefully Sunday. Hopefully Sunday. I don't think Saturday's going to happen, but Sunday, if it's on, I'm there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Team All Black. I'm mostly there, but Jordan, give it a this.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.